Hi everyone, it's Lynn from Halen Vintage and welcome back to another Retro Cooking Wednesday. If you're new here, thank you so much for popping in and joining me. And if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. It means so much. It helps the channel grow and it is free. And if you've been here a while, thank you so much. I really appreciate the love. Anyways, today we are working on the 1954, our sixth winner of the Pillsbury Grand National. This is the Open Sesame Pie, which was done by Dorothy. She had a great pie. How exciting. What a great name. Open Sesame back in 1954. We all think of, the big Open Sesame. So how fun was that? We used to be a big supplier of sesame seeds before the war. And once this recipe had won, there was a big surge on sesame seeds being put in crackers and everything else. All the bakers wanted to try it. And it is actually really excellent in the crust of this. So let's get to that ingredient table. Okay, for our open sesame pie, we're going to make a pie crust first. So it says we need 2 to 4 tablespoons of sesame seeds that we're going to toast. So I'm just going to pour what I have left here into this pan, and we're going to put those in the oven at 450 degrees just for a few minutes. And then for our pie crust, we need 1 cup of sifted flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, and then a 1/3 cup of Crisco that we are going to cut into each other so that we can make our pie crust with, of course, a couple tablespoons of water if needed. And then I just have my pie plate here. And then, if you guys really want to, you could always just use some frozen pie crust. So let's get this made and then we'll go over the filling ingredients. Sift the flour. We're going to add the salt to that too. Right in there. Sift it all. There we go. All right, flour is all sifted. Let's cut in our Crisco. All right, so sesame seeds are toasted. Watch them because they will burn very quickly. I did this in culinary school too, burnt them. Ooh, had them in the toaster oven. My chef was not happy, so don't do this. Make sure you pay attention to them. So we're gonna dump the cooled sesame seeds into our flour, sifted flour and salt. And then we are going to cut in our Crisco shortening. Let's get that done. So I just, because it was just a small amount, I just used a small little fork until I got it to look like peas. And then we are just going to start to add a little bit of cold water over it and mix a little bit at a time just until it starts to hold together. So then we're going to mix this in mostly over your drier stuff until this gets to form a dough. All right, so we got our dough flattened into a ball. We're going to roll it out. I just kind of got a 9-inch circle on a parchment paper here and get this into our pie pan. Okay, pie crust is in. I'm not good at fluting edges. We can't all be good at everything. So I am just going to take my fork and I'm just going to make sure that it looks like it's a ray of sunshine. We're going to do that all the way around the edge. And then we are also supposed to, I did pat out the air pockets. And we are going to prick it generously with a fork. And then we are going to bake it in our oven, 450 degrees for 10 minutes, and then cool it, and then we'll make our filling. Okay, so for the filling, we're just going to kind of go over all the ingredients. You do need 1 packet of unflavored gelatin. Of course, they called for Knox back in the day. I just have a Kroger brand here. 1/4 cup of water that we are going to dissolve that in. You do need 2 eggs, but we are first going to just use the yolks with a cup of milk. So the 2 egg yolks, cup of milk, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is going to go into a double boiler, just the yolks from the egg, but save the whites because we will need them. And we want to get that thickened, and then you'll dump the gelatin, then it'll go into the refrigerator. We'll go step by step. And then we also need to whip 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream with a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to want to whip that with like 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then we will fold in our dates, and then we are also going to beat the egg whites and then also fold that in to make this chiffon filling, and that will be put into our cooled pie crust shell. So let's get started on this. All right, so in here we've got our cup of milk, our 2 egg yolks, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of 1/4 cup of sugar. And I've just kind of got this on water. This is just my mixing bowl so that it was, and we are just going to whisk this until it gets thickened. Probably making like a custard is what you're making, because we got that cup of milk in there, eggs. So the eggs is going to kind of thicken the milk. So we'll come back when it's thick. Okay, our mixture has been on here a little while, and they wanted it just thickened until it'll coat the back of a metal spoon, which is, I believe, where we're at. And then we are to add, I've had this softened in the 1/4 cup of water. We are going to add that to our mixture, and then we want to make sure that that is all dissolved in here. So we want to stir in that gelatin that was in that, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. So I transferred this to a bigger bowl to put in the refrigerator, and we are going to stir it every so often until it gets thickened. And then we're going to add some vanilla and dates to this, and then we are going to fold in the heavy whipping cream that's been whipped and the egg whites that have been whipped. So I figured it would need a bigger bowl to get all that done. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator. All right, we got our 3/4 cup heavy whipping cream in here. Let's get it beaten till it's stiff. Nice and thick. Now we got to do our eggs. All right, so this has been partially set, the pudding that we made that was on the double boiler. So we got our 1 teaspoon of vanilla that we're going to put in here. As you can see how thick it is. And then we're going to put our 1 cup of chopped dates in there with that. Stir that. And then we are going to fold in our whipped cream. Got our nicely whipped cream we're going to fold in there. You can hear Ace in the background. There is no sweetness in here. And then we are also going to fold in our egg whites. So let's get this folded in. And then we're going to do our egg whites also. All right, so now we're going to do our egg whites. We are going to get this a little frothy, and then we are going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar until it gets glossy. All right, let's add our sugar. Two tablespoons in. Get it glossy. There it goes, already starting to form the gloss. Fold in our egg whites, and then we'll get it into our pie shell. There she is, all pretty in her pie crust. Let's add some nutmeg on there. Ooh, yum, yum. There you go. Let's put her back in the fridge. Okay, my thoughts on Dorothy's open sesame pie. You know, when I read through the recipe, I didn't even realize this. There's not even a third of a cup of sugar in this pie. The dates really make it really super sweet. So not knowing it, back in 54, she actually wrote a very low sugar recipe that actually is very sweet with the dates. So if you are trying to cut out your sugar, actually something you might want to try with this recipe. It was super delicious with those dates in there. Next week we are doing ringalings. I think it's some sort of like Danish. So don't forget to check that out. And then with that being said, this is Lynn from Hey Lynn Vintage. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for helping my channel grow. With that, stay retro, my friends. See you next week. Bye, everyone.